Hi and welcome to this multi-part video series called Phone Right. My name is David Anthony. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome, and do consider subscribing because this channel is all about helping you go further and faster in business and in life. So let's get started.
Well, how did you go? I expect you thought something like this. The caller called because he needed some tires, and he asked the price because he didn't know how else to begin the call. Well, if you did think that, congratulations, you're exactly right. After all, how is the potential tire customer going to begin the call? Is he going to say, what kind of rubber is the tire made out of? Or is a caller to an airline going to begin the call with, has the pilot been drinking today? Of course not. In many, if not most cases, we can expect the caller to begin the call by asking something like, what's the price of so-and-so? And the key point to understand here is that in most cases, they do not mean, give me the price or else. In most cases, it's simply a place to begin the call. That's all. But the price giver doesn't understand that. The caller to the hotel says, could you give me the price of a room, please? $150 a night, says the price giver. And the caller says, thank you, I'll call you back. And never does. What the price giver has done is to convert that caller into a price shopper. After all, what one piece of information does the price giver give the caller? Price. That's it. So what they're actually saying to the caller is, the reason you should buy this is price. And so the caller shops around for a better one. Yet you and I know that there are many more reasons that people buy. Certainly price is a consideration, but it's definitely not the only one. The price giver believes it is. And not only that, he effectively convinces the caller that it is. So what does the caller do in response to a price giver? Well, he hangs up and goes straight to the yellow pages and calls your competitor. Why? Because he still has the problem that he called you with. That is, he still has the real problem he called you with. Let me explain that emphasis on real problem. The real problem for the caller who calls saying, could you give me your best price on some tires for my Ford Sierra, is that he needs some tires. The key questions are, when does he need them? What sort of driving does he do? What tires best fit his driving? How many tires does he want? And so on. Only by asking those questions will the salesperson be able to understand the real problem. Only then will he be able to help the caller solve that problem. Again, the price giver does not understand that. And as a direct result, potentially profitable sales slip right through his fingers. In a moment, we'll look at our next type of salesperson, the product-focused peddler. But before we do that, let me just mention one more thing about the price giver so that you truly can understand and believe in these concepts. Please don't interpret the comments here as meaning that we should never give price on the phone. Of course we should, but it's how you do it that's important. And when you think about it, absolutely anybody can look up a price list and say, as the price giver does, the price is $90. In fact, we could have a computer do it just as effectively as the price giver. But it takes a special person to do it differently, a person who truly does care about his potential customer's need. We'll look at exactly how to do it really soon. For now, though, let's get a little more underneath our performance standard number 5, and to do that, let's look at the product-focused peddler. You heard one of them in action before. Remember this call?
Good morning, Sunshine Airlines. This is Kerry Howard.
Oh, yes, hi. My name's Paul Dunn, and I'd like to know the times of travelling to Sydney, please.
Thanks for calling us, Mr. Dunn. Our first flight is at 7 in the morning. That arrives in Sydney at 8:15. Then there's one via Coolangatta at 7:30. That gets into Sydney at 9:30. There's a direct flight again at 11, followed by our midday one. Then there's one at 3:25, followed by another one at 4, but that one doesn't have business class. Then there's one at 5, another at 6, and our final one for the night gets off at 7:15.
Right, thanks very much. A classic product-focused peddler. You ask them a question and away they go, almost frothing at the mouth, belting out all of those irrelevant product or service details. Now, did you notice the word irrelevant? The majority of the detailed information our product-focused peddler gave was correct. In fact, all of it was correct, but the majority of it was irrelevant as far as the caller goes. You see, the caller called because they wanted to get to Sydney. Again, They had a problem or a specific need, if you will. But because our salesperson here was in motor-mouth mode, those needs didn't get addressed at all. Had our salesperson applied performance standard number 5, they'd have asked questions and understood those needs before they gave out all of that stuff. Needs like when the caller wanted to travel. Needs like when they wanted to arrive, and so on. But they didn't do that, did they? Just information overload, or what I sometimes call spaghetti disease. You see, you've probably heard the phrase, if you throw enough spaghetti at the wall, some of it will stick. Well, that may be true about spaghetti, but it certainly isn't true about communicating effectively with callers. You see, all of our communication must be directed towards the caller's needs, not ours. Or, to put that another way, we can define the process of telephone selling, indeed any selling, like this. Selling is professionally helping other people satisfy their real needs. Again, our product-focused peddler doesn't understand that. And just imagine if you were the caller in that airline example. How would you have felt after this barrage?
Thanks for calling us, Mr. Dunn. Our first flight is at 7 in the morning. That arrives in Sydney at 8:15. Then there's one via Coolangatta at 7:30. That gets into Sydney at 9:30. There's a direct flight again at 11, followed by our midday one. Then there's one at 3:25, followed by another one at 4, but that one doesn't have business class. Then there's one at 5, another at 6, and our final one for the night gets off at 7:15.
Well, of course, you'd feel confused. And confused people find it incredibly difficult to make a decision. So, because their real needs haven't been addressed by the product-focused peddler, they end up confused. They say, "I'll think about it and call you back." But because they still have the problem they called you about, they actually hang up and call your competitor. So again, all that money it cost you to get the person to call you has just gone down the drain. But it's even worse than that, because it's most likely now gone to your competitor. Not because the salesperson didn't know their product. Clearly they did know the product in that previous airline example. The difficulty is they didn't know their customer. As a friend of mine says, using a medical analogy, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So the product-focused peddler doesn't convert many calls to profitable sales. His customer ends up confused, and as a direct result, the caller hangs up and calls a competitor. And when that happens, he might just happen to talk with our fourth type of salesperson, the one we've called the problem solver. The problem solver, you see, understands absolutely a number of important things. And since problem solvers help more potential customers to buy than our other 3 salesperson types put together, it's critical that you and I share these same understandings. Firstly, the problem solver understands that people call him because they have a problem that they believe he can help them solve. They call because they don't have what it is he has, and they want to buy it. Secondly, he understands the role of trust in the sales process. It's very simple. If I don't trust you, then I'm not going to buy from you.
I hope you got a lot of value today. If you did, click the like button. What that does is help us build our non-profit business school, UBLA. Check out in the description below to find out more about what we're doing and how you can help. This is part of a multi-part series, so keep your eye out for the next video. In the meantime, we've done a great playlist about how I do small businesses fail. Check this link over here, and this will show you a great little list about how you can be successful in business. So thank you very much. Catch you again soon.